And welcome to my very first tutorial. I've never made one, and this is probably going to be like take number 42 or something, I don't know. But I wanted to start out with electric image animation system as my first tutorial because I totally dig it, love it. Um, but I don't want to talk about me so much, I just want to get into the program. Now, first of all, these tutorials are not meant as a lesson in 3D animation. So I am just at best, a weekend warrior. And I just wanted to go through really quick a basic introduction of some of the things that you'll find in electric image. And then I want to go into some tricks and some things that I've learned and that I think some people might find interesting or fun, perhaps, or even educational. So we are working in 9.1. And also the other reason why I'm doing these is the tutorials that are currently on the animation website are really good, but they are all standard definition. So I just thought if I could create some that were in HD, they can look a lot cleaner and nicer and a lot easier to see what's going on. I've gone through a lot of those tutorials, if not all of them, and it's just kind of hard to see the numbers and the text and so forth. But anyways, moving on. This information is taken straight off of the PDF file, which you will get when you purchase the animation program. It basically works with the program that you're actually working in is called Animator. The program that does your rendering is called Camera, and there's a third program which I don't have that's not up here as an alias, which is Renderama. And Renderama is a really cool tool to use in helping you quickly render a lot of stuff. And I remember in the old days, the saying for electric image was render fast, retire young. Well, at my age, if I'll be retiring old, but it's okay, I'm still rendering fast. Moving on, camera. As I stated earlier, camera is the tool, the application that will be rendering your animation, your files, your movies. And Renderama, as I stated, is a network rendering tool that will really make your work go a lot faster. Okay, so let's go through some of the terms and definitions, and this is some of the stuff that we will be talking about a lot. First thing is your project. Your project is basically everything that contains all your objects, your materials, your maps, shaders, anything that you used to make your scene. And then, therefore, your scene is a rendered sequence like a scene in a movie. The scene is what you made in your project. Objects are anything like a camera, light, model, plugin, or effector, or a smoke object. So if I say we're going to start out with an object, we're going to import a model, or we're going to use a cube or a sphere or something like that, that is our object that we're starting with. Camera is a scene object. The camera is similar to like a real camera, which is used to record your animation and then it's rendered out. Your light is also a scene object. It is basically exactly what it says. It's a light that's used to illuminate your scene, and it has a lot of little tricks that I have found to be very useful and interesting, and there's some various types of lights which we'll go through. Your model file is a model that you would bring in, that you would import. So we'll discuss more of that later. So now when you bring in your model will come in as a group, and that group is sort of like a single container which has all your polygons and your shapes that are inside there that are in some sort of hierarchy, and all those elements can be animated and also can have shading and other fun stuff you can do with, but you've got to have at least one group. But you can have multiple groups, you can have more than one group. Like, for example, if you bring in a human model, the arms can be one group, the legs can be another group, the back is another group, and so forth. Whereas then you could also have a human model that is entirely one group completely. And then within that group, you would have polygons, and polygons are the elements of your model. And vertices are points which can define the corners of a polygon. So moving on down, the next thing is attributes. An attribute is an aspect of an object that can be animated. So an aspect could be like size or location or its transparency or anything else that model can do. Next you have maps, and maps are also an attribute. You can animate your maps and so forth. So those are just some of the things that are basic to every project that you work in. You'll have an object, you'll have a camera, you have a light, you may or may not have a model, and you obviously will have a lot to work with in that project. So now let's go on to starting up a project in the next segment, in the next tutorial.